this is phrases, English phrases.
Okay, okay.
Yes, like yeah,
Okay, cool.
is is phrases. There are phrases about many subjects or situations,
Mhm.
and yeah, and
In my car.
yeah,
Okay.
it's I usually use this app.
And how often do you use it? Okay. How often do you
And
use it?
when I think I will have a conversation,
Oh, so you get ready for the conversation using this app.
yeah, I try to.
Okay, that's interesting because you have then a small period of time before actually using those words with a person.
Yeah,
No, that's very interesting. And is that part of your hobbies? For example, that's only when you need to speak with a person. You don't use it in a more frequent way.
no, no.
Okay.
Uh, I watch movies and I turn in English
Mhm.
and
With English captions or Spanish captions?
both.
Both.
Yeah, and yeah, it's a hobby.
Mhm, mhm. Okay. Definitely, we need to do some modifications in the core way you see English, right? As a intermediate speaker, we usually have English as a practice thing, and we use it, or we usually see it as a secondary thing, right?
Yeah,
In order to make it bigger, in order to improve your language skills, you definitely need to start seeing it as an everyday situation, right? And some of the strategies that I'm going to show you are going to help you implement those uh, habits into your daily routine. Whenever
yeah.
you're watching a movie, whenever you are listening to a podcast or doing whatever, you will start changing the perspective of how you see these movies. You know, so one of the main objectives that you need to have starting today is stop watching English as a secondary ability and more like the principal way you speak. Okay, that's gonna help you get yourself into I call it a, a what's the name of this sensation of urgency. Sensation of urgency.
But
When your mind is in a, yes, tell me.
but how can I do that? Because
Yeah,
I speak Spanish every day and in every situation, and yeah,
I agree with you. I agree with you. It's not like something that I can give you like today, no. But with constant effort and with the strategies that I'm going to show you, you will be able to see it as a normal thing. You know, many people suggest, you know what, change your cell phone into English, or use your computer in English, install all your software in English and things like
don't.
that. Don't you don't have it?
Yeah,
Well, that can be a useful thing. Like it normalizes the usage of English for you. You know, it's like, okay, now everything is in English, and now it's very common to what I used to do. Like, for example, my iPhone, I have it all in English, and all the settings, all the social media, everything happens in English. The only application that I use in Spanish is Didi, for example, because when I
yeah,
receive a car, or Uber, when I receive a car, the cell phone automatically translates the messages into English.
yeah.
So that's a complete mess, no? That's only for interaction with other people. I need it in Spanish, but the rest of it, everything can be a source of vocabulary for you. Literally everything. Okay?
Yeah.
And this is a small tip to begin. After that, we can talk about more profound strategies like the ones we are going to speak about in this moment. Okay? Let me show you the introduction to the course. Okay? This is the first ability that we are going to develop through all the course. And this ability will be used with American people speaking and the analysis of these American people speaking. We are going to analyze the way they speak. Okay? Before, give it a read while I say hello to Robert and Cesar that are here. Hello, Robert. Hello, Cesar. Are you there?
Hello,
Teacher.
teacher.
Yes.
Perfect. How was your New Year's? Good?
Yes, and you?
Excellent. It was fantastic, man. It was fantastic. I'm actually happy to come back to action. All right. Very good, man. Well, I want you to pay attention in this moment because this is the introduction to V2. I still have to deliver your results of the exams that we are very dependent on their results, so we can know if we can use this class or not. But it's super important that you feel the abilities that you need in this moment. So pay attention, check what the objectives and everything. Okay? So, first ability, we are going to learn something called collocations and lexical phrases. Okay? In order to understand what are collocations and lexical phrases, we need to imagine a cookie. Okay? This cookie in English is called a chocolate chip chunk. I repeat, chocolate chip chunk. You understand chocolate, you understand chip, but what is chunk? Chunk is a group of ingredients in a mixture, in a combination. This is a chunk. So when you get all the sugar, the flour, the chocolate, and all the ingredients of a cookie in a small portion, this is what a chunk is. Well, in English, or linguistically talking, you learn vocabulary by chunks. For example, when you started learning English, you learn groups of words as a unit. When you learn, for example, to say, may I go to the bathroom? Right? The expression, may I go to the bathroom, many people don't know how to write it. They don't know the spelling. They don't know the writing of the phrase, but they pronounce it correctly. Hey teacher, may I go to the bathroom? Hey teacher, may I go to the bathroom? Beginners in English can speak, may I go to the bathroom? But they don't understand may, for example. So unitarily, the word may is not comprehended. The student doesn't understand may, but the student understands, may I go to the bathroom? This is the function of a chunk. A chunk is a group of words, a group of information that is usually together. Usually, because in Spanish, it's very different. Let me help you with the expression, may I go to the bathroom? Again, what is may in Spanish?
Puedo.
Who knows? And what about can?
También.
Exactly.
But may is elegant way of can, no?
You can like find an explanation, but really there's no literal translation.
Yeah.
This is what a collocation is. Words that are impossible to translate, but exist in English. And the difference between a beginner, no, a intermediate speaker and an advanced speaker is the quantity of collocations that you dominate. Let me give you another example. Another example of a collocation is it depends. For example, it depends. If you say, hey, if you ask me, do you prefer to go to Cinemex or Cinepolis? I will respond, it depends. You will ask, it depends, space, for what? Complete the phrase. What expression is necessary here?
The connector for.
The connector. Oh, surprise, is not for. Because for is when you offer. For you, for me.
Okay.
No?
Again, Robert?
If.
It depends if what? If what? No. If is a connector of ideas. So you say condition. If I go to the cinema, I will buy popcorn, for example. And this is not a connection.
But what about, for example, in my example is, it depends if I go alone.
Okay. It depends. Period. If I go alone, comma, no. You know? So this is a different application.
Okay.
Let me help you with another example. It depends the type of screen I want to see. It's the same, eh? It depends the type of screen I want to see.
Is by?
You're closer. You are closer still. It depends by the type of screen. Now, this is one of the difficulties. I know that I need a connector. Robert, Cesar, and Rafa, you selected connectors, but you don't know what connector, no? This is the ability of collocations. Every time I use the word depends, I will usually use the connector on. Why? Because #English. There is no other explanation. And there is no translation from Spanish. Spanish cannot help in this case. So the only way is by the memory, the constant exposition to the language, and detecting words that usually go together. You see? Look at this example. Read this example, Cesar.
Spend.
Again?
Example for spend.
No. Read the example.
Okay. Starting salary varies from it's pounds, no?
Yeah, this is pounds.
Okay. 2,600 pounds.
100 is 2 zeros.
Yeah.
Zeros.
Oh my god.
Come on, 3 zeros. Kindergarten English.
1,000.
1,000. Okay. Again.
Starting salary varies from 26,000 pounds to 13,000 500 pounds, depending on experience.
Excellent. Depending on. You see? No depending for, no depending by, no depending if. I know. This is so interesting. And this is something that we don't usually see because we are thinking in Spanish. That's very normal. So the more you learn English, the more English speakers you listen, the more English you analyze, you will start recognizing these chunks that we have. This is what a chunk is, and this is the basis of the course. This level is based on chunks, idiomatic expressions, and collocations that grow from B1 to B2 and possibly C1 vocabulary. Okay, so very, very, very common everyday expressions in English that we are going to learn. Let's read the information that we have in front. Help me, Rafa, with the introduction. Action.
The term chunk?
Yes.
Okay. The term chunk refers to a group of connected words that are treated as single concepts. Here are examples of chunks. On the other hand, at the moment, as a result, and first of all, language chunks are also
And
known
first of
as
all,
lexic.
period.
Sorry?
And first of all, period. Over here, there's a pause.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Language chunks are also known as lexical phrases and collocations.
Perfect. Continue.
Now, why is it important to learn words in chunks? According to neuroscience research, it is easier for us to remember lexical chunks than isolate words.
Okay, pronunciation. How do you pronounce this word over here?
I didn't know this word.
No problem, let me help you. Do you
Isolate.
know the symbols here?
Isolate.
Excellent, very good.
Isolate.
The word
Isolate.
isolate is in present and in past is isolated.
Isolated.
Exactly.
And
Isolated.
what it is?
Alone, like lonely, alone by itself, you know?
Ah, okay.
Words alone are more difficult than lexical chunks. Lexical chunks are easier.
Okay. To remember lexical chunks than isolated words. Isolated. It's okay. All right.
Continue.
What? When a learner comes across a new word, they should know the words that collocate with a new word. In that way, it is easy to remember the word and use it effectively in different communication situations.
Perfect. That's it. Finish. This is super important. What Rafa read is super, super important, guys. According to this text, when you learn a new word, you need to learn also what?
The context.
Close, close. In the text, there's a different information. Help, guys. When you learn a new word,
The words around the new word.
perfect. When you learn a new word, you need to learn also the words around the new word. Exactly. The word that goes before and the word that goes after. So for example, in the expression, on the other hand, many students commit the incorrect expression and they say in the other hand.
Oh, yeah.
That's incorrect.
The other hand.
The connector is on. At the moment, I personally make the mistake and I say in the moment, and that's completely incorrect. It's at the moment. The connector and the words that go together are super important and similar, the same relevancy as the word that you are learning. So every time you open the dictionary, you need to check the words after that word, after and before. Look at this. In the word isolate, for example, we have the connector from. To isolate somebody from, for example, drugs. To isolate somebody from alcohol. Not of, not for, not if, not at, etc.
From.
Only intermediate speakers and advanced speakers learn vocabulary in groups. Beginners learn vocabulary in isolated words, alone. But you are advanced, you are upper intermediate. You need to learn groups.
Isolated.
Isolated. That's right.
Sorry.
This is a new word for you. That's perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. Continue with the examples, Robert.
For example, the adjectives that collocate with the verb attack include brutal, friend, horrific.
After brutal, what do you say again?
Horrific?
After brutal.
After brutal, friends.
This I sounds similar to this.
Friend side.
The symbol.
E.
Exactly.
Frenzy.
Excellent.
Frenzied.
Brutal, frenzied, horrific, savage, serious, vicious, violent, racist, and sexual.
Sexual. Excellent.
The verbs that that's it?
Continue.
Okay. The verbs that collocate with attack include carry out, launch, come under, suffer, repel,
excellent.
repulse, resist, survive, and withstand. The common phrases with the word attack include a victim of an attack, a line of attack, and open to attack.
That's correct, brother. Do you see all the different possible combinations there exist? There's a lot. So one word comes together with a lot of words. That's the reason that when you are a level B1, you need to start learning groups of information to become B2. This is the objective for you guys. What do you think? Difficult?
Yeah.
Why?
Very
what again?
interesting.
Very interesting. It is fantastic. I really like this level because there is a lot of information, and the more you study the vocabulary lists that I show you, the best. Similar to the previous level. When you watch a video, you have a list of vocabulary. I really recommend you study this list of vocabulary because you are going to watch a video on Monday. And then we are going to practice the vocabulary for the video all the week until Friday. On Friday, we are going to watch the video again, but now with listening analysis. So it's going to be Monday, new video with new vocabulary, and Friday, the same video with all the vocabulary in your memory. This is the way your vocabulary is going to grow, become bigger. Okay? This has worked. I graduated 5 students last month, and I want to graduate you guys. Okay? So let's work on that. What are going to be our tools? This is going to be our tools. Lists B1, B2, and C1 vocabulary. Okay? Vocabulary that is going to accelerate your memory process. Number 2, a lot of examples. Using thesaurus.com. Thesaurus is a synonyms and antonyms dictionary. Youglish.com for examples in other people's speech. Oxford Advanced Learners Dictionary, the dictionary that we usually learn, and the phonetic symbols. Okay? We are going to associate a new word with a word that we previously knew. So you are going to use B1 synonyms in order to understand B2 vocabulary. Number 2, you can use its synonym and antonyms in order to expand the knowledge. So if you have vocabulary B1, you will understand vocabulary B2. If you don't have vocabulary B1, this is a very difficult level. So you need to dominate vocabulary B1. And finally, synonyms must always be the same grammar family, right? So you need to be familiar with what is a noun, what is an adjective, what is a noun, an adjective, a verb, and a connector.
Adverb.
These are adverbs, exactly. Adverbs are technically in this level. We are going to learn adverbs this level, so don't worry about them. The minimum that I ask you in this moment are nouns, adjectives, verbs, and connectors. That's the minimum. Ready? How to read vocabulary. I'm going to show you a lot of examples. The lists of vocabulary are massive. So I'm going to show you these specific icons that I use in my course. In my course, you are going to see a little lock symbol and a little cookie. Okay? The cookie means you are learning a chunk. This expression is a chunk. Okay? When there is no cookie, it means that it's a normal word. You need to learn that this is a noun, and you need to check the level. And each lock represents a specific level. B1 means that you are supposed to know this word. If a B1 word is new for you, memorize it quick. Okay? Do you know what is ASAP? No?
Yes.
Robert knows.
It's new to me.
Yes. Can you tell us, Robert or Caesar?
As soon as possible.
As soon as possible. You know? As soon as possible, which is the quicker, the best. B2. B2 means that the word corresponds to your current level. This is the moment to learn it. Make sure you are pronouncing it well and use it in a sentence. It is demonstrated that if you learn or you use a word 10 times, it will forever live in your memory. So if you learn a vocabulary that is new, use it. Use it as fast as possible so you can cover 10 times and you can memorize it faster. C1. C1 means that the vocabulary in question is technical. There's an indication of the corresponding technical area next to the word class category. For example, here. Lawsuit is a C1 vocabulary. And lawsuit is technical vocabulary for law and justice. What is law and justice? The Constitution, the judges, lawyers, you know what I mean? Police, probably, etc. This is the indication of the legal or the technical area of expertise. C1 vocabulary is always together with a technical representation. So you can understand that this is very specific vocabulary. And finally, C2. C2 means that is vocabulary commonly used in casual conversations, informal situations, and very native settings. What is a setting? A situation. So whenever you see C2, this is super informal vocabulary, super casual vocabulary, and very, very, very sure it's impossible to think about it in Spanish. Okay? This is the mission every time you watch vocabulary. Understand until now?
Yeah.
All right. We are ready for the first video, guys. Jesus Christ. This is going to be the mission. We covered this B1. The mission is to make you a B2 intermediate English speaker. We are going to make a certificate for B2 exam. What is the name? The simulation in 4 months. Okay. So we have 4 months to cover all these educational objectives. Screenshot if you want to, because this is the objective for 2 months, for 4 months, sorry. And of course, when we pass the B2, you are ready to speak with whoever you want. This is a demo of the speech, but don't worry about that. The name of the B2 certificate is called the First Certificate B2. Rafa, you have done this exam, no?
Yeah.
So we are going to do a very similar exam at the end of the period, and this is going to be the first topic of the week, health. I'm going to show you the video that we are going to watch first. Let's talk about health, and the video is let me show it to you. You are very familiar to this topic. So look at this.
World Health Organization. On March 11, 2020, the World Health Organization made an announcement.
In the past 2 weeks, the number of cases of COVID-19 outside China has increased 13-fold. COVID-19 can be characterized as a pandemic.
The coronavirus, or COVID-19 disease, had already overwhelmed China, South Korea, Iran, and Italy. And this was a warning to other countries where it was now spreading quickly.
In the days and weeks ahead, we expect to see the number of cases, the number of deaths, and the number of affected countries climb even higher.
The spread of COVID-19 was no longer something that could be stopped. But we can still slow it down. We just have to act right now. Someone with COVID-19 usually develops a fever and a cough. Aches, pains, and other mild symptoms are also possible, but are less frequent. But the severity of those symptoms varies, and for some people who get the virus, you might never show symptoms at all.
Based on the data from China, the vast majority of cases are not life-threatening. In 80% of cases, people experience only mild disease, but in 20% of cases, the disease can manifest in a more serious way. It can develop into quite a severe pneumonia where people need to be hospitalized and put on ventilators.
Overall, it seems like about 1 to 2% of known cases lead to death, but that rate is much lower for young people and much higher for the elderly.
And it also seems that people with unmanaged underlying chronic diseases, they also have a tougher time overcoming the virus.
The virus also seems to be very contagious, more contagious than the flu.
All you need to do to spread COVID-19 is cough or sneeze on someone else, touch a surface where the virus still lives, and then put your hand in your mouth or your eyes or your nose.
After getting infected, it can take an average of 5 to 6 days before you feel sick and your symptoms start to appear. But you can already spread it to people in that period, even if you feel healthy.
Just as people realize they're sick, they seem to be at the most risk of passing it along to others.
That's how the virus has been so effective at spreading across the world so quickly, and why the WHO was now calling COVID-19 a pandemic. But what they said next was just as important.
We cannot say this loudly enough. All countries can still change the course of this pandemic.
And that depends on something each of us needs to do as individuals.
So diseases become really dangerous when everyone gets sick at once and the health system becomes overwhelmed.
In any hospital, the capacity to treat patients is limited by how many beds they have. Think of this as the number of beds in your local hospital at any given time. A couple are already filled by patients receiving treatment for things like a car accident injury or a stroke. And this dot represents one person who's healthy and decides to go out like usual. They jump on the subway and head into the office where they catch COVID-19. But they don't feel sick right away, and might not for several days. So later they go to a basketball game where they unknowingly infect 2 or 3 more people. Most of these people will have relatively mild cases, but one might be an elderly person with a severe case who will eventually have to go to the hospital. But these 3, who are all infected but don't feel sick, go out again, on the subway, into the office, and then out after work, infecting several more people, 20% of whom will need to go to the hospital. Over a short period of time, this process multiplies the number of people going to the hospital each day. Before long, the hospital is full and a crisis begins. People with severe cases of COVID-19 can't get treatment, and some who could be saved die. Plus, people with other issues can't get treatment either, and some of them die. This surge of severe cases causes avoidable deaths. That's what happened in South Korea, Iran, and Italy, all of which went from 100 to more than 5,000 cases in less than 2 weeks. A lot of people died because they couldn't get into the hospitals. This surge is made up of only severe cases, but it was generated by people who didn't feel sick, spreading the disease in public. Which means the people who can do the most to avoid these unnecessary deaths are these people. And that means all of us. To slow the virus down, you need to act as if you already have it. By avoiding public transportation, the office, crowded places, and even small social gatherings, you decrease your chances of both getting the disease and spreading it. This is called social distancing. If enough of us do it, the virus still spreads, but much slower. Over time, many people might still get infected, but fewer severe cases show up to the hospital each day, never overwhelming the system. This trend line gets flatter. These people can all get treatment, and fewer people die because of it. These are the 2 ways the COVID-19 pandemic can play out. But this one only happens if everyone does their part. And it's why experts and officials are urging people to flatten the curve by social distancing and staying home as much as possible. It's also why in the US, many companies are helping by requiring employees to work from home, and major sports leagues have canceled their games for the time being. It may seem drastic, but it's worked before. In 1918, the cities of Philadelphia and St. Louis were both hit by a flu pandemic, but they responded in different ways. In Philadelphia, health officials allowed a huge parade to go ahead, while in St. Louis, officials prepared. They closed schools, theaters, and bars. Philadelphia's hospitals were overwhelmed, and many more died as a result. but St. Louis was able to avoid those excessive deaths. 100 years later, these are the two scenarios we face. A difference not in whether you get the coronavirus, but when you get it. That could mean the difference between life and death, maybe for someone you know. But we have to act now.
You know all this information, right? You're super familiar with this information. Who can explain this in English?
I understand very well the OMS director.
Yeah, his accent is super easy to understand, right?
Yeah,
Yes. Yeah, because an accent. That's the positive thing about his English. The
yeah.
other guy is difficult, no?
And the girl, yeah.
The girl too. I don't know where the girl is from. I don't really remember. But the American one, that's the challenge.
Yeah. No, and the British,
The British is the most difficult one. Exactly.
yeah.
So the more you get used to the pronunciation and everything, that is the secret.
And the exam will be in British.
Precisely. The the first the first two exams are in American English, the last two are in British, and the final exam is in British. Definitely.
Yeah.
And actually, your partners are familiar with this British accent. The last exam that they did on December, it was all British.
Okay.
So what was the sensation with the British accent, Robert and Caesar?
Yeah, because it's a horrible surprise if you didn't know.
It was in British.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is this is a horrible surprise. Definitely. Yeah, it's necessary to check first demo before you do the exam because it's unexpected. How did
Yeah.
you feel the listening in this case, Robert, for example?
Okay, it's not easy, but I think that it's not difficult. Maybe because I know the context and I know some words or what happened in the process at the beginning of the COVID-19. Maybe
Yes.
I think that it's not very difficult, but I don't know if you put another video about a surgery, about the heart surgery,
Mhm.
maybe I don't understand anything or I don't know.
That's precisely a positive thing. When you see a video that has a familiar situation for you, now
Mhm.
this is your opportunity to learn vocabulary because it makes the task easier. You can understand more words in an easier way. That definitely is going to help. Mhm.
Yeah.
So let's use that as a help. Okay, the situation is familiar, so the vocabulary will be not easy, but we need to adapt better to the vocabulary. Okay, what about Caesar? How did you feel the listening?
Um, It's depend.
Why?
Because I understand some words or some parts, for example, and for example, the listening for me was very easy,
Mhm.
but when I complete the sentences,
Oh yes. Mhm.
it's difficult.
That's a difficult part, precisely.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely this is the difficult part, but we need to check the vocabulary in order to understand it better and be able to communicate it. Okay,
Yeah.
that's what we are going to do in this moment. Okay, vocabulary. The first thing that we are going to check is how to learn vocabulary by using the video. Okay? Take a note of all the words that we are going to learn today. Let's start with number 1, which is this one. C1, guys. See? Pronunciation, let's start with Robert.
Overwhelm.
Perfect. Perfect.
Overwhelm.
What is overwhelm?
Overwhelm somebody to have such a strong emotional. Okay. To have such a strong emotional effect somebody that it is difficult them to resist or know how to react.
That's right. Can you give me an example using overwhelm? Or can you explain what is overwhelm before?
Okay. I want to have just emotional if somebody very difficult for them to resist. For example, example or explain?
Explain. First explain.
For them to resist or know how to react. For example, I don't know, it sounds to depend to something or to someone.
To depend to something, to depend on, no? That's a
Depend
chunk.
on, yeah. To depend on something or someone,
To
or how
depend
to say.
something or someone.
For example, the how can I say, homeless. The homeless is overwhelmed about alcohol.
No. I want to tell you why. This is a verb. Grammatically, you cannot say is overwhelmed.
The homeless overwhelmed alcohol.
That grammatically is correct, but that is not the definition of overwhelm. Because in the definition we have a strong emotional effect that is difficult for them to resist. So you are talking about a dependency, but that is not a dependency. It's more about read the second part, to know how to react, for example. We are talking about crisis.
Okay.
Right? What can overwhelm you?
Overwhelm me?
What makes you enter into a crisis?
Crash?
A crash. Okay, complete idea. Give me an example.
I overwhelm. If I have a crash? No.
Switch.
The
crash overwhelms you. You don't overwhelm another person. Because one thing affects the other.
Okay. A ver. I crash.
I crash. Something affects you. What affects you?
The crash.
The crash. This is the subject. Subject verb complement.
Subject. Okay. I overwhelm.
Again. Something affects you. What affects you?
Crash.
This is your subject. The crash is the subject.
And this is at the final.
No. This is the beginning because this
Ah.
is your subject.
The crash.
Uh-huh.
The crash overwhelmed me.
Yes, I overwhelm, you overwhelm, and he, she, it.
He, she, it. The crash.
Overwhelms.
The crash
It's a verb.
overwhelms
Exactly.
me.
That's it. Because the crash had a strong emotional effect on you. You see?
Okay.
All right. Welcome to B2, brother. Oh, yeah. The crash overwhelms you because the crash has a strong emotional effect and you don't know how to react on it. That's a very natural thing. Very good example. Let's go to the next one. Tell me, Caesar, what is announcement?
Announcement.
Announcement.
Yes.
Okay. Announcement is a noun, spoken or writing statement.
Again, what is the past participle of write?
Writing.
Past participle of write.
Written.
Come on, man. What's happening?
Right.
How do you pronounce this symbol?
Read. E.
Read, exactly. So complete.
Read.
In past.
Written.
Excellent.
Written.
That's right, complete.
Okay. Spoken or written statement that informs people about something. To make an announcement.
That's right. What do you understand? What's announcement?
When the people writing or spoken or
When the people what?
when the people spoken.
Why are you speaking past participle? If you say when, you need to speak in present.
Okay, no, speak.
Exactly. When the people speak.
When the people speak for crucial information for the other people.
Okay, very nice. Eliminate for, because you don't say speak for crucial information. You are not offering anything.
Okay, when the people speak to
eliminate two. What do they speak?
Yeah, speak the important information.
Exactly. For a lot of people. Very good. That is an announcement, right? Very nice. Let's go to the next.
An announcement can be how can I say? I don't know, like the news.
Kinda. No, well, it depends. In the news, there are usually announcements, but not all the news are announcements.
I forget the word. Print news.
Print news.
Print news is
the newspaper.
Newspaper, yeah.
Okay. And what about the newspaper?
Newspaper. is equal to announcement?
Okay. No, an announcement is more like because announcement can be usually spoken to.
Ah, okay.
So that's impossible to be equal. It's more about, for example, the OMS director. You know, the OMS director goes out to a public conference, no, and makes an announcement. It's like informs the people,
Okay.
not in a news format because news is reports, and journalism, and in this case is more like, I don't want to say news. It's more like
But isn't a verb. I can say I make an announcement.
okay. The verb is announce.
Yeah.
The verb is announce, or you make an announcement.
Yeah.
Precisely. This is a chunk.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Perfectly.
Thank you.
Perfect. That's it. Announcement, spoken or written statement. Very good. Next one. Go, Rafa. Pronunciation.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Warning.
Good. Be careful. This symbol, pronunciation, whoa.
Warning.
Excellent.
Warning.
Warning. Uh, a statement, an event, etc. Telling somebody that something bad or unpleasant may happen in the future so that they can try to avoid it.
Right.
Um, yeah, is um I don't know.
Try to give a sense. It says, do you understand what is a statement? Because in the previous definition, we had a statement too.
Statement. A statement is like a fact.
No. It's more about a statement is equal to something you say. Easy
Yeah.
as that.
Okay.
It can be facts, it can be lies, it can be public, it can be private, it doesn't matter. But it's something you say. So,
It's
imagine
like when as in the video said, stay at home.
a statement.
Stay at home because uh, you can get sick.
I think you're confusing it with suggestion.
Okay,
Uh-huh.
you
No,
can
no, no.
die.
Exactly. No. That's a warning.
Yeah.
That's a warning. You can die. But what is a warning? I mean, that's an example.
Okay.
How can
A
you
warning
define warning?
is when you give a suggestion uh, because you don't want that something bad happened.
That's great. That's an excellent definition of a warning. When you give a suggestion because you don't want something to happen or something bad to happen, right? I like it. This definition goes very, very close to this. Try to avoid it.
To avoid it. Yeah.
Perfect. That's exactly the same. If you use your synonyms, your own words, to understand more difficult words, you are doing the job. That's exactly what I want you to do. Okay? Very good, Rafa. Warning. Any question, warning? Great. Let's go to the next one. What is this, Robert?
Spread.
Excellent.
Spread.
What is spread?
Spread. To affect or make something affect. Be known by or be used by more and more people. To affect or make something. Yes.
What is spread?
To affect or make something. Okay. Okay.
So,
The tacos
okay,
spread
okay.
some co-workers.
Tacos spread some co-workers? What
Ajá.
do you mean?
The tacos are bad or they
But before you make an example, I think you need to understand the definition. Because look at this. Please look at this.
affect.
To affect, no?
To affect.
So the tacos affected the coworkers?
To affect. Okay. No.
Anyway, check this out. It's incomplete. You are understanding, but you're understanding incomplete. Yes, it's to affect, but to affect what? To affect more and more people. So something affects me, tomorrow it affects my sister, tomorrow it affects my mother, tomorrow it affects my grandmother, you know?
Okay. Okay. A ver. No es viruela. Okay, more easy. The flu. Es que me acordé de una enfermedad que te sale como salpullido, pero no es viruela, es
That's chickenpox in English. Anyway, viruela is Spanish.
Yeah.
And in English is chickenpox, and the other is chickenpox and
difficult. More easy. The
okay.
flu.
The flu.
The flu spread.
Okay.
The flu spread all the college.
Much better. The connector that we usually use for spread is Look at this. Spread over. I usually use over. Spread easily. There is no other connector. Spread by the wind. Look at this. On or over.
Okay.
Can you complement your
Use-
example?
Okay. The flu
Mhm.
The flu spread on.
Mhm.
Okay, the flu spread on
The college.
the college.
Exactly. And are you speaking in present or in past? I don't understand any time.
The flu will be
Excellent.
the flu will be spread on
Excellent.
on the college.
Perfect. You are correct. That's an excellent example. Much better.
Mhm.
The flu will be spread on the college.
On the
All
college.
over the college. That's usually the connector we use.
Mhm.
Very good, man. Let's continue with the next one.
Okay.
Caesar. Oh, sorry. Pause because Jessie will pass attendance. Hello, Jessie.
Hi, good night. Thank
Hi,
you.
girl.
So I will take attendance, please. Mike,
Absent.
Robert.
Present.
Hi, Robert. Thank you. So chill.
Absent.
All right. Cesar. Ces.
Here, sorry.
Hi, Ces. Don't worry. Thank you. And Rafael.
Here. Hello.
Hi,
Welcome, man.
Thank you. Welcome. So have a
Thank
nice
you.
night. Thank you, everyone.
You too, Jessie. Thank you.
See
Bye.
you.
Perfect. Let's go to the next one. Caesar.
Fatigue.
Look at the stress.
Fatigue.
Exactly.
Fatigue.
This is C1 vocabulary.
Fatigue. A feeling of being extremely tired, usually because of hard work or exercise.
What is fatigue, man?
Okay, a feeling of being extremely tired, usually because of hard work or exercise.
No, yes, this is the text in the dictionary, but with your words,
Okay.
what is fatigue?
Okay, when I have very when I have a day
You have a what?
no, when I have a day more moving,
Moving.
no, when I have day stress, a stress day.
Very good. Stress is not a description, eh?
Okay, day stress.
Again, stress is not a description. What is the description for stress? Stress is a verb.
Yeah.
Transform the verb to a description. This is the previous level.
Stressful day.
Excellent. Complete.
When I have a stressful day in my work.
Yes. So what happens when you have a stressful day?
Fatigue.
I have fatigue. I like it. Perfect. Perfect. A synonym for that is exhaustion, tiredness. Okay? And this is technically a health problem vocabulary. So we are talking about technical C1 vocabulary. Okay?
Okay, teacher, For example, when I have a burnout.
Exactly. A burnout is very similar, but burnout is not considered, well, probably, yeah. It's like a mental health problem, and fatigue is more physical. That's the
But
difference.
is a consequence for burnout?
Probably. I mean, it depends on the situation. But for example, COVID-19 gives you fatigue, but not boredom.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A stressful day can give you burnout and also can give you fatigue. It can be both. But COVID cannot give you burnout because it's not stressing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can have that two problems or only one.
Exactly. It's not equivalent or it's not the same. They are two different problems.
Okay, teacher.
Right? Perfect. Perfect. Let's go to the next one. Rafa.
Cough.
Good.
Cough.
This is a B1 vocabulary.
Okay. To force out air suddenly and noisily throw to your throat.
Okay. Wait.
For example, when you
Pronunciation.
have a cold.
How do you pronounce this? Okay, this is a new symbol, no?
Roll.
Let me help you. Soundboard. So this is the soundboard. I think did I show you the soundboard the other day?
I don't
Alright.
remember this word.
No problem. This is the soundboard. Okay? In the soundboard, we have different symbols. These symbols represent pronunciations in American English. There is this symbol over here, is the symbol that you have here.
Okay.
This symbol is pronounced like this.
Throw.
Through, exactly.
Through.
Okay.
That's right. This is the preposition through, which means, for example, when something trespasses, let's say a window, the light comes through the window.
Okay.
You see? Very different from the organ over here. This is your throat.
True.
Throat.
Okay, yeah.
Got it? Through versus throat. Look similar, I know, but it's different.
Yeah.
Action. Again.
Is they gonna stop. Oh yeah.
Yes.
When you are sick and you will take these pills for because I have cough now.
You have cough now, exactly.
Yeah.
That is a symptom when you get the flu.
Yeah.
That's right. We have cough. I have cough too. On the vacation. Very good. So what is the pronunciation for this?
Is true.
Excellent. And this one?
True.
No, that's different.
Yeah. Throat.
Oh.
Throat.
Throat.
Throats.
Exactly.
Throat.
Through your throat.
Through your throat.
Excellent. You're speaking English, man.
Cough.
Perfect.
Through your throat. Okay.
Excellent. Let's go to the next one. Go word.
Ache.
Excellent.
Ache.
Feel a continuous pain that is not severe.
Oh, pronunciation.
Severe.
Exactly. Severe.
Severe.
Severe is very intense, strong.
Severe. Okay, it's not okay, to feel a continuous pain that is not severe. Okay.
What is ache? Can you find a synonym of it?
A synonym? Hurt.
Something that you don't have in front of you.
Okay. To feel bad or
Exactly. Yes, I like it. To feel bad, but not emotionally. It's a physical.
Physical.
It's physically feeling bad, feeling hurt. Pain. And the best synonym for ache is pain.
Okay.
Okay. So every time you do you remember any ache that you have in the vocabulary? Try to associate. How do you?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
For example, I have stomach ache or headache.
Exactly. Perfect. A stomach ache is a pain in the stomach. A headache is pain in the head.
Headache.
Perfect. Aches. And you can have many other aches. Aches in the throat, aches in the finger, aches in the legs, aches in different parts of your body.
It's a softly pain.
Kinda. Soft, not softly. Soft.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is when you feel a pain softly.
I like it. Much better. Better organization. Exactly. When you feel pain softly.
Okay.
Sounds good. Very good, guys. Very, very good. Which comes with the next word. The next word is actually pain. You see? Caesar?
Pain. The feeling that you have in your body when you have been hurt or when you are ill.
That's right. Which is a synonym of?
Ache.
Excellent. Very good, man. Very, very good. If you watch the video that we studied today, you will understand some of the words that we studied today. I will pass you the rest of the vocabulary in the next classes, so you can study the video together with the vocabulary. Okay. On Friday, you need to have all the words here. Technically, every Friday is a listening exam. So, super important to have these words and the pronunciation in mind. So when you listen to the video becomes easy. Okay? Let me pass you the video in this moment. And yes, questions.
No, yeah.
That was a question, no? The video.
That's it. We have to listen the video again and repass the words.
Exactly.
The vocabulary.
Review the words, check that you understand the words, and I will pass you the full list tomorrow.
Okay. Tomorrow you will send us the list of the
New
words, but the words from this video.
Precisely, exactly.
Okay.
The new words, the B1, B2, and C1 vocabulary from this video.
Okay.
Got it?
Cool.
Don't
Yeah.
worry about that. You can study it in this moment, and I will see you tomorrow.
I have another job.
Yes.
We have. Will we have the next class Friday at 6 p.m.?
No, the next class is tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Yes,
It's
of course.
every day?
Monday to Friday. Yes.
Okay, cool.
The next class is tomorrow, Monday to Friday, and then on Friday we come back to the video.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, that's gonna be. Tomorrow is theory day.
Okay.
All right.
Great.
Excellent class, guys. I will see you tomorrow. Have an excellent night.
Bye.
Happy New Year. Let's go.
Bye.
You too.
Bye,
Bye.
guys.
Happy New Year.
You too, bro. See you later.
See you.